Rich?
I'm not saying a word to you.
Dr. Calden? Purdue?
And the girl that was doing
Should I just go?
she said, yeah. Oh, go. And I'm going to text him. He like looked at her and he stood there. Looked at her, like thinking.
I'd like to call the meeting to order with a salute to the flag and a moment of silence, please.
It's over there.
Pledge allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Carey, roll call, please.
Mr. Borden?
Here.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Here.
Ms. Cantillo?
Here.
Ms. Suter?
Here.
Mr. Conti?
Here.
Dr. Gagliardi? Mr. Panucci?
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Brick Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be posted on the Administration Office Bulletin Board, the official district website, and Channel BTV 20, and sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Brick Times, the Star Ledger, and Municipal Clerk's Office. At this time, I will read the election results for the Brick Township Board of Education. For the three-year term, Leonard Fagola got 5.76%, John Lamella got 14.48%, Stephanie Walrab got 15.89%, Madeline Colagiviani Iannarone got 9.7%, Walter Campbell got 9.1%, Victoria Pacala got 16.62%, Victor Fenimore got 4.12%, David Fisher got 6.6%, Lawrence K. Reed got 7.35%, Lois Turner got 10.07%. For the one-year terms, John Talty received 44.66% and George White received 55.08%. There was also 0.26% write-ins. At this time, I am going to administer the oath of office to the newly elected board members. So let me go to the microphone. First, I would ask John Lamella and his family to join me at the podium, please. You're going to stand right here next to me with your family. Let's go like right this way. You come this way and face that way. This way. Okay. Your family right there. That way you're looking right at the camera. Okay. Turn.
Raise your hand.
Right hand. Yes. And repeat after me. So get into the microphone. You good, Dave Rich? Good. I state your name.
I, John Lamella,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, John Lamella,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
the qualifications
the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of
a
Board of Education,
a Board of Education,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Can I grab my note?
Yeah. Next, I'll ask Victoria Pacala to join me at the podium with her family.
Huh? She can take my seat.
So you memorized all that, right? I don't have to repeat it again?
I was going to carry my copy up, but I wasn't sure.
It's okay. All right. So raise your right hand. Good, Rich. Okay. I state your name.
I, Victoria Pacala,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support
I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I
and that I
will bear
will bear
truth, faith, and allegiance
truth, faith, and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in
established in
the United States
the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Victoria Pacala,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
the qualifications
the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of
member of
a Board of Education,
a Board of Education,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Next, I will ask Stephanie Walrab to join me at the podium with her family. Rich, good. Okay. I state your name.
I, Stephanie Walrad,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will
and that I will
bear truth, faith,
bear truth, faith,
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in
established in
the United States
the United States
and this state
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Stephanie Walrad,
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
the
the
qualifications
qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of
member of
a Board of Education,
a Board of Education,
and I will
and I will
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank you.
And finally, I'll ask Mr. White to come to the podium with his family. Good for you.
Except some of them are on vacation. How are you today?
I'll go there.
Turn, face me, raise your right hand. Let's make sure Rich has got everybody. Good. I state your name.
I, George White,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I
that I
will support
will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I
and that I
will bear true faith
will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the government
established in
established in
the United States
the United States
and this state
and this state,
under the authority
under the
of
authority
the people,
of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, George White,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
the qualifications
the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of
member of
a Board of Education,
a Board of Education,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully
impartially,
and partially
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
George.
Sit next to me.
Mr. White.
Hey.
No, but where's Jim?
Official. Have a seat.
No, but he didn't swear in.
Yeah, just did that. You just moved. That's what the whole board. You just swore him in. He had a whole contingency.
At this time, I would like to bring to the Board of Education's attention item number 3, which is the Code of Ethics for School Board Members. And I would like a motion to adopt the Code of Ethics for School Board Members and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second it.
Mrs. Cusinelli and Ms. Cantillo. Roll call, please.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
George, yes.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. This time, I'll seek nomination for President of the Board of Education for the 2016 calendar year.
I'd like to make a nomination.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the, was
I'd like
Ms.
to make a
Cantello?
nomination.
Okay, Ms. Cantello?
I'd like to nominate Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. White, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
A second for Ms. Cusinelli? Is there any other nominations?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
I'd like to nominate John Lamella.
Mr. Lamella? Are there any other nominations? I'm sorry, is there a second?
I second.
Second for Ms. Walrab?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll take a vote on the first nomination, which is Mr. White. Can I have a roll call on Mr. White, please?
Mr. Barton?
No.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
No.
Ms. Bacala?
No.
Mr. White?
I respectfully decline, no.
Ms. Walrath?
No.
Next, we'll take a vote on the second nomination, which is Mr. Lamella. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Barton?
Absolutely.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
This is yours, sir. Congratulations.
Okay. I'd like to ask for nominations for Vice President.
I'd like to make a nomination.
Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Stephanie Walrab for Vice President, please.
Second.
Second.
Roll call. Or are there any other nominations?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Number 6, John.
To go to-
That's where we are, reorg dates.
We did do the code of ethics first.
No, you
We
didn't.
had to read the code of ethics first.
Okay. I read them? We did that.
You just have to have a motion to
We did that already, Sharon.
Mr. Edwards, motion to adopt the ethics?
Oh, we did that already.
did it.
We're
All right,
beyond
we
that.
did.
Yep, we're up to item number 6 on the agenda.
That should be the dates? Right, meeting dates? Correct. Okay. A motion regarding the meeting dates to discuss them. You can open them on your calendar. They were out front. Anybody have any movements or additions to that?
I'll make a motion.
Yes.
Okay. And what are those motions?
To accept the board minutes as stated, the board calendar as presented.
I'd like to make an amendment to that.
Go ahead.
I'd like to propose a additional meeting date in January for January 14th instead of the January 28th regular meeting date. And I'd like to propose a special meeting date for February 4th in addition to the regular meeting date in February.
Can I ask the reason for the special meetings?
Well, we'd like to get established next week, and we'd like the special meeting in February 4th in receipt of other things that we're going to add to the agenda, add to the agenda.
You don't have to do another meeting for that. You can just ask the superintendent to add things to the agenda. Do we need
I
an...
know, but we need a special meeting February 4th.
All right, so right now you have a motion to approve the 2016 board meeting dates, and then there was an amendment, and that's this, so it'd be a motion to approve the 2016 board meeting dates as amended to include 2 additional meeting dates. I think you said one was January 14th,
January 14th instead of January 28th.
and the other one was
February 4th, a
February
special
4th.
meeting.
That would just be a regular meeting.
Yeah, I think right now it'd just be a regular meeting, because if you do a notice of a special meeting, you're going to have to include what the agenda is, and from what I gather, you feel you're going to have a need for a meeting, but at this stage, you don't have specific items on the agenda.
We won't have full attendance on the 28th, so we would prefer to have a meeting I would prefer to have a meeting on the 14th.
Mr. Lamella?
Yeah.
If I can just clarify, so the January 14th will be a regular meeting, and
In lieu of
since
the
you're...
28th?
And February 4th, since you're adding it to the existing calendar, that just becomes an additional meeting.
Regular meeting,
Regular meeting
correct.
instead of a
So
special.
it's just going to be another date we put on under regular meeting?
Through the chair, could I ask a question?
Yes.
I'd just would like to ask Dr. Caldes if there's a meeting moved up from the 28th to the 14th, does that give you enough time to have all the, and probably to Mr. Edwards too, does that give you enough time to have things ready for the month?
What I would, go ahead, Tom.
Okay, there will be things that we will have ready for next week, and because February 4th is only a week after the 28th, anything that we don't have prepared will be on the 4th meeting.
That's all I was going to say, is the financial reports most likely, if it's okay with you, will most likely be on February 4th's meeting, because I won't have them prepared in time.
That's
for
fine,
next
Mr.
week.
Edwards, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so right now, you've had the initial motion. I think what you need to do is have a motion to adopt the meeting, the 2016 board meeting date schedule as now amended for those 2 additional meetings and the deletion of the January 28th meeting.
Yes.
Is there a second?
And you need a motion and a second?
Second.
I think that was Ms. Walrath.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
I'll vote yes if, I don't understand the reason, but if it's needed.
Ms. Cusinelli?
I'm going to abstain from that vote.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Need a motion.
Number 7 is to adopt the Asbury Park Press as the official newspaper and the Brick Township Times and Star Ledger as the alternate newspapers for the districts in accordance with NJSA 10-10.4-18. I need a motion for that.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Number 8, to authorize the personnel listed below to sign checks effective from this date until this 2016 reorganization meeting as follows. Be it resolved that the President, Board Secretary, and Treasurer of School Monies be empowered to sign all checks, drafts, notes, acceptances, or other evidences of indebtedness of the Brick Township Board of Education effective from this date until the 2016 reorganization meeting, and granting authority to have the necessary signature plates made to be used to sign checks. Resolved that the principal, assistant principal, board secretary, and/or assistant business administrator be empowered to sign all checks for the high school and the middle school student activities account. Each check is required to have 2 signatures. Resolved that the board secretary and assistant business administrator be empowered to sign all checks for the elementary school student activity account. And resolved that the board secretary and the treasurer of School Monies be empowered to sign all checks for the district-wide payroll agent account, and each check shall require 2 signatures.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Number 9, I have a question before we get to it. Are these stipended positions? I'm new. Is the district affirmative? No, just title. Motion to appoint Megan Osborne as the district affirmative action officer.
Motion to
I'll
appoint
second
Megan
that.
Osborne.
Second.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
To appoint Susan Jersiewicz as the District 504 officer/homeless liaison. Need a motion?
So
I'll make
moved.
the motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lamella, do you know who the second was?
I second it.
Okay, Ms. Cantillo was? Who was the first then?
I think George.
I think it was Mr. White.
Mr. White.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
To appoint James W. Edwards as the District Public Agency Compliance Officer.
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Number 12, be it resolved that the superintendent of schools and the business administrator/board secretary for the Brick Township Board of Education or their designee be designated as the board agents to request state and federal funds under the existing state and federal laws for the period from the date of this reorganization meeting to the board reorganization meeting in the next calendar year.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
You need a second here. You need a second?
Second.
Victoria, what's that second?
Thank you. Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Number 13, the adoption of all existing board policies and regulations.
Make a motion?
Second.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
I'm going to abstain on that.
Ms. Cusinelli?
I'm going to abstain on that one.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes?
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
I'd like to amend the agenda at this time to include,
I brought copies for everyone.
6 more items.
You need to make a motion.
I make a motion to amend the agenda at this time to add additional items.
Second.
Should I take somebody else's?
No, no.
We have,
We share one? You got an extra one?
She'll give you her.
Yeah, no, I saw.
Copy.
Did I give you yours that said your
Do
name?
they have? Oh, you already have it?
Well, yours went down and somebody took Sharon's. I apologize, I didn't make enough copies. I'm new at this, and I only made it for the board members. I didn't make it for everybody on the dais, I apologize. I knew there were 7 of us, so I made 7 copies, and I labeled them with everyone's name. The new guy. Mr. Edwards, Mr. Caldes, Dr. Caldes, can we move this motion forward now based on what we've handed out? Are we within protocol?
You need to do a roll call to add these. That motion's been made to add these, so we'll take a roll call to add them, and then you'll have to vote on them after we add them.
Okay.
So then, roll call to add.
Mr. Barton?
yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
No.
Ms. Cusinelli?
No.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr.
I just have
Lamella?
Mr. Lamella, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
If this is what,
It's okay. It's all good.
excuse me, President Lamella,
No, it's all good. Go ahead.
I would have appreciated just a notice about this. I mean, I have no problem with anybody changing, but is that why we're changing meetings and everything?
No, I apologize. I gave a copy to the superintendent on Monday. I had assumed that this would be distributed to everybody equally. I even offered at that point to have it added as an addendum item, distributed. So I apologize. I did give it on Monday, and
Okay.
that's why I made copies for everyone tonight.
Oh, okay,
So
because
I-
this is the first we're seeing this. I've
Correct.
never
I
seen
did
it.
give it as advance notice to the superintendent,
Okay.
and I made an assumption that that would either be added, and Dr. Caldes said that he wouldn't. We'd have to make those motions here. And I assumed since you were still sitting board members that you'd receive it. I apologize.
Okay,
I gave it Monday.
that's fine.
President Lamella, may I have a motion heard?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint provider of legal services as board attorney, general counsel to Nicholas C. Montenegro, law firm of Montenegro, Thompson, Montenegro, and Gens, for 45 days at a rate of $145 an hour and a total amount not to exceed $16,500.
Second.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
I'm sorry, I'm going to abstain. I'm still reading this. This is all new to me, so I apologize. I don't feel prepared to comment.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Could I, through the chair, may I ask a question, please?
Yes.
I'm just a little confused. Again, I apologize that this is the first I'm seeing this, so, with regards to that, Don't we have to do an RFP or an RFQ for that?
We do not. This is a 45-day to bring Montenegro and Thompson in. It will be a part of the RFP if we read on in numbers. This is just for 45 days, not to exceed $16,500.
And then what happens at the end of the 45 days?
Within that time frame, we're going out for RFP. We'll receive the RFP back, and then we can make a decision as to which attorney will go with at that time.
Okay, so during the 45 days, there will be an RFP out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Item 15?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to instruct and authorize the business administrator, board secretary, to issue no later than January 10, 2016, written 30-day notices of contract termination to the following vendors: Board Attorney General Counsel Barry Sarabnik, Costas and Benson Law Firm; Special Education Counsel Schwartz, Simon, Edelstein, and Celso; Bond Counsel McMiniman, Scotland, and Baum; Labor Negotiations Counsel Schwartz, Simon, Edelstein, and Celso; Insurance Broker Medical, Connor, Strong, and Bucklew; Insurance Broker Property Casual, Boynton and Boynton; Insurance Broker Workers' Comp, William H. Connolly and Company; Auditor Jump, Scudolaro and Company; Architect DeCaro Rubino; Engineer T&M Associates; Financial Advisor Phoenix Advisors; and School Physician Dr. Lionel D. Foz, M.D.
Second. President Lamella, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we vote on this, are there any legal ramifications to any of these terminations as far as their contracts?
I don't know the individual contracts. They may have termination clauses, they may not. But I
So
haven't had
would
an
we be
opportunity to
incurring
review
any,
this.
might we be incurring any legal expenses by terminating them before they're over, their contracts?
That may be the case, but quite frankly, I just saw this as it was handed out now,
Okay.
so I'm not in a position to say yes or no, but you may have termination clauses. Most of these are your professional appointments, and I'm not sure whether they have termination clauses or not.
It's my understanding that our professional contracts have 30-day termination notices.
That's my understanding also.
Well, I will just tell you that mine does not, but since this has an impact on me, I'm not rendering any legal opinion with respect to, my contract and my position.
President Lamella, have you looked at all of these contracts to make sure that they have the clause that you will not be impacting the board with any liabilities?
No, I have not. And in fact, and if they don't, then it would be up to our discretion as to whether to keep using them or not. So in theory, whether terminated or not, it would be our decision to say, hey, we'll use you until we figure that out. So I think we'd be okay in that regard. One of the reasons I made this motion, and I sent these to Rich, was specific. We ran as a team, as an organization, a clean slate team, and I just wanted to see what we had, and by doing that, we would serve notice and then see what we get. Chances are you could keep a majority or all of these people, but we ran with the impetus, with the vision, to take a good look at what we have, and I believe, this was the start, and that's why I sent this to Rich, Dr. Caldes personally on Monday.
Through the chair, may I ask a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the cost to the district to terminate these contracts? It is my understanding that in a case like this, you would have to include the language from each particular contract, citing, what page, what paragraph, that would show the actual termination for each one. I believe each of these should be listed separately and include that language, because I don't know if any of these have a cost to the district for that termination. Can you tell me that?
I cannot. Counsel?
Again, you'd have to review the contracts. I'm not in a position to tell you yes or no here tonight.
Mr. Montenegro?
The opportunity to review contracts in reference to the RFPs that the contracts were submitted as a result of, with the exception of Mr. Sharadnik's contract, an RFP. All of the RFPs listed with the persons listed and the companies listed in paragraph 15 indicated a 30-day termination clause. The RFP limitation of 30 days follows the contract. That was not in the RFP of Mr. Sharadnik. My recommendation would be, Mr. President, that you would ask for a motion perhaps to amend item number 15 to exclude Mr. Sharadnik from that list. Ask for a second, and if it's voted on, then vote on the amendment.
So amended?
Second.
That's fair. Roll call on the amendment?
Please.
Okay.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Mr. Takala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Excuse me, through the chair? I'm not sure if my timing is correct. This is all very unusual and new to me, and again, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Would it be appropriate, could I make a motion to table this until the new meeting of January 14th, so we have some time to look at this, since this is all new? This way I can pull those contracts and see. I'm also concerned about being left in the lurch and what kind of cost that's going to impose on the district by having to scramble once these people are, I'm very concerned about the cost to the district with this.
I believe that based on what Mr. Montenegro just said, that cost, there would be no cost encumbered if I'm incorrect, based on the 30-day clause, and we are following those contracts. Beyond that, if you'd like to make a motion, you're absolutely welcome to that. If it's seconded, then we would vote on it.
Okay, then I would like to then please make a motion to table this until the new January 14th meeting, please.
Second?
Mr. We need a second first.
Wait, I just have a question. We voted to table Mr. Saradnik.
Yes.
Right now, Mrs. Cusinelli, what is your motion right now?
My motion is to take all of these items in number 15 and table them until our meeting that was just established for January 14th. I have a lot of concerns about the cost to the district with all of these. You know, if you're getting rid of someone, even if there is no cost with the 30-day, you're kind of behind the 8 ball when you're going to have things that you need. There are things in progress with a lot of these professionals that I have some concerns about. There's, you know, for example, the architect, we have a lot of pending projects, and I'm very concerned about the expense with this. I don't know, again, this is all new to me, and I don't know what the motivation is. I understand, you know, you want to look at everything, but I'm concerned about this scorched earth and what the ramifications are going to be legally and financially to the district. And I would like a little time to investigate.
Again, any project that traditionally, when this is done, any project that's currently underway is significantly underway, those people are not removed from that project. This is just using them, moving forward to retain them for other projects. Right now, that termination would not include any current projects.
But if they're
So there'd be
terminated
no
within
cost.
30 days, what if the projects go beyond the 30 days? I'm a little confused.
They already have individual contracts. That project is theirs. We're not taking that project away. This is moving forward. We're seeking bids for these people to come in and be held under retainer for our board.
But for example, again, you know, I've served on the facilities committee, I'm familiar with this. With regards to the architect, we have multiple projects pending, so I'm not really sure how that's a positive thing right now.
So you have a motion to table that's been made. I think if to go forward, you would need a second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Barton?
No.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
No.
Ms. Pacala?
No.
Ms. Walrath?
No.
Mr. White?
No.
All right, so then your next,
So I had
Item would
made the
be a
motion,
vote on-
I had made the motion to instruct and authorize the business administrator, board secretary to issue no later than January 10, 16, written 30-day notices of contract termination to the following vendors with the exception of board attorney, general counsel Barry Saradnik. The other ones listed, do you want me to read them again?
no, that's
No,
sufficient.
that
I
motion's
think
still,
that's
that motion's still standing, so it doesn't need to be read again and seconded. It's an actual live motion, it's been amended. So if there's no other discussion, we could take a vote upon it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Barton?
Yes, as amended.
Ms. Cantillo?
Abstain?
Ms. Cusinelli?
No.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Pacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
I'm sorry, through the chair, could I just ask one other question? I'm sorry I keep asking so many questions, but this is, like I said, this is all new. Was there a meeting or something that I missed that this was put together?
No, ma'am. No. I put this together.
Okay, because I noticed some of the other board members had this copy before you handed them out.
I made these were points that I had spoken to when we got together as a team to run for the board. To me, I made copies for everyone here tonight, and I sent copies to Mr. Caldes. I did speak with one of my team members on the phone, and I met with another one in person. But these were the premises, and these are the foundations and building blocks on which we ran as a team.
As to item number 4, motion to instruct and authorize the business administrator, board secretary, no later than January 10th, 16, to place an advertisement in the Asbury Park Press, post on the district's website, and to post in-house for the position of interim superintendent.
I think you skipped one.
He skipped 16.
You want to do 17, since that was offered by Mr. Scott, and then you can come back to 16 if you so desire.
Okay. We can go with the motion that's made and come back.
So you need a second for Mr. Scott's motion on number 17? I'm sorry, Mr. White's, I apologize.
Mr. White made the motion on number 17?
Yeah, he,
Yeah.
Mr. White,
second.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
No.
Ms. Cusinelli?
No.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Pacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Excuse me, one other question. Through the chair, I guess this should be directed to Mr. Saradnik. Are the conflicted board members allowed to have that vote on number 17?
well, if there are board members that have spouse or family members teaching in the district, they would be in a conflict because the interim superintendent or supervisors would be in the chain of command.
So they shouldn't have voted on
They
that?
should not vote on that. I don't know if the new board members have any conflicts or not.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not. You an administrator?
I did.
I'm
And I was used to doctrine of necessity, so I just slipped on that.
Because
I
this-
probably shouldn't have even heard this to begin with, because I'm not
No.
supposed to be involved in any search prior to, so I probably should have been given a heads up on that one.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can amend my vote to,
John, unfortunately, we didn't have it in advance, but I think maybe what would be appropriate is if you ask that you amend your vote to abstain on that item.
yeah. If President Lamella, may I make that amendment and abstain from that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have a question that was just brought up. I am an administrator in another district, not in Brick, and I have no affiliation to Brick. Is that a conflict of interest for me?
You know what?
Or, I guess it would be the same, are you in the same union,
Negative.
administrators union?
NJPSA?
I am in PSA, yes.
That's a conflict. Right?
I believe it would be a conflict if that is the same unit that Mr. Dr. Caldez is a member of.
No, I'm not a member.
You're not?
I'm a member of NJSA.
Okay. All right, so then it appears that
Okay.
at this stage, I don't
Okay.
have any, I can't make a determination if it's
President
conflict or
Lamella, I'd
not.
like
Yes,
to
ma'am.
amend my vote because I don't want to vote on that. I'd like to amend that to an abstention.
Okay. Duly noted.
Mr. Saradnik, is there any problem since this was given out to conflicted board members in advance?
Ms. Cusinelli, I'm not, I can't, at this stage on the dais, I've always had a rule not to give legal opinions sort of on the fly before we had the opportunity to give the research, so I'm going to refrain.
Understood.
I just don't want to make a statement that I haven't had the opportunity to look into and research and quite frankly talk to the board members involved.
Thank you.
So at this stage, then you have Ms. Cantillo and Mr. Barton, who have amended their votes to be abstentions on item number 17.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we vote again?
No, we're
No, no.
you
We're
have
done
four.
with
Yeah, you have 4 yes votes. So if you want to go back to number 16.
Okay.
Number 16, I'd like to make a motion to instruct and authorize the Business Administrator Board Secretary to post requests for proposals to be received and opened February 1st, 16, for the following positions: Special Education Counsel, Bond Counsel, Labor Negotiations Counsel, Workers' Compensation Counsel, Conflict Special Assignment Counsel, Insurance Broker Medical, Insurance Broker Property Casual, Insurance Broker Workers' Comp, Auditor, Architect, Engineer, Financial Advisor, and School Physician. Second.
Second.
You missed the first one. There's one more you missed. Did you want to do the first?
Board Attorney General Counsel.
Yeah, you skipped that one, so I wasn't sure if that was on purpose, or did you want to include that one?
Oh, yeah, we're...
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So it's the whole motion as it reads, then?
Yes.
Okay. And that's a motion by Ms. McCalla, and who was the second?
Mr. Walrab?
Ms. Walrab, thank you.
Mr. Barton?
I don't know if you heard you.
I have a question, since I use this medical insurance, if I should abstain from the insurance broker.
It's just the broker, Mr. Barton. It's not the actual medical insurance, it's the broker, so
Oh, okay. So I'll say yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
I didn't hear, everyone was talking, I couldn't hear.
You didn't hear the motion?
I didn't hear what the motion was. Is that to,
Number 16.
for number 16?
Yes.
Abstain.
Do we have our questions first, though? I think we skipped the board comment before the vote.
If you had a motion and a second, then you should, any questions should be addressed, board members should address their questions now.
Right now, I'm just, again, I'm just concerned about the cost to the district, and through the chair may ask the BA if that gives enough time to prepare effectively and have approved by board council all the RFPs before they go out. I certainly wouldn't want to see us with boatloads of legal fees because we're not doing things properly. And also, does it give us enough time to effectively do that?
I'm going to, may I?
Yeah, it's good.
I'm going to make some assumptions, and with those assumptions, answer yes, and that is that we currently have the RFPs done.
Yes.
I'm assuming there might be some minor tweaks which we can discuss.
Yes, sir.
And then, so yeah, the answer to your question would be we could get them out tomorrow, or if not
You're just
Monday.
using the old ones, you're saying?
That's my assumption. My assumption would be that we're using the current ones that we have, and that we're going to put those out, and then, yes, we would have the 20-day requirement met and be fine.
Okay, thank you. Does it also give enough time for the completion of all the financial disclosure forms from the new board members, so that we know if there's any conflict with, you know, with pay to play, or with conflicts within employment or anything? Will we have all that documentation in time?
Well, the school ethics forms are going to be due by February 1st, so it's going to be prior to the appointment, because if I'm assuming the February, again, I'm making assumptions, so
You are.
I hope I'm right. If we're taking these on February 1st, I'm assuming they're going to be on for February 4th for approval. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right,
So
then-
is the 3 days enough time for you to review them and to have the superintendent make the recommendation?
Well, it's not up to us to review and their own personal conflicts. That's by board policy, each individual board member's.
No, I'm sorry, I meant the actual proposals that come in. Is 3 days enough time? Because I know historically, it takes much longer than that to do due diligence and to go through the proposals.
It's going to depend how many we get and what the situation is, but I guess we'll address that as it comes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Roll call? Roll call, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Cusinelli?
No. Sorry.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Skipping to number 18, as we've already voted on 17, I'd like to make a motion to instruct Board Attorney Montenegro to review the pending matters related to Superintendent Uzinski and to report and counsel the board at its next regularly scheduled meeting on the status and the board's legal rights and options regarding termination of his existing contract.
Second.
Again, on this one, I just remind board members that may have a conflict, that Dr. Uzinski is still an employee of the district, and if it's a supervisor over a spouse or relative that works in the district, you would be in a conflict in taking any action involving the superintendent. So that if, for example, if you have a spouse who's a teacher in the district, that you go up her chain of command under the advisory opinions on ethics, from the teacher to the principal to an administrator to the superintendent, that's all in a direct chain of command, and there'd be a conflict for that board member to vote on any matter concerning the superintendent, quite frankly, whether it was Dr. Uzinski or any other superintendent of the district.
You can. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
So it would be almost the same people as last time?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, could I ask through the chair, and I guess this would pertain to all of them, again, I have a lot of confusion with this document. How, is it appropriate that this was done in advance by, I guess, Mr. Lamella, you said that you prepared this because I thought it was a conflict that a board member would work as an individual with these things, and I'm just concerned
I wasn't a
about...
board member when I made it. Right or wrong? I got sworn in tonight.
Right.
Okay, so I wasn't a board member when I made it. And again, this was the platform on which I ran.
Right. I'm just concerned about the board being put in a bad position legally and financially. I mean, I know this is, I understand that you're new to this,
Thank
but I'm just very concerned about the financial liabilities by the, I'm not saying, I'm just saying the rush is what concerns me.
I agree. I can tell you how I feel. You're concerned about financial liabilities. My thought process when I ran was, we're still paying this. So I want it looked into immediately to see how we can make ramifications here for someone who's arrested and taken out of your building in handcuffs. So I think it's fair and reasonable to ask for that to be done.
Well, we do have to comply with the laws, whether we agree with them or not. We are obligated to follow the laws, and that's what we have done.
And that's what my motion asks for. My motion asks for the attorney to advise us on that.
President Lamella, through the chair, I have a question. If conflicted members aren't allowed to have an opinion on this, when the board winds up in this lawsuit somehow during the trial, am I exonerated at that time as a board member where I will not have any repercussion with the position that I have?
Doctrine. You voted under the doctrine, though.
I mean, the criminal, if there's a criminal proceeding, that's going to be before a judge, and the judge will make those decisions. In a criminal proceeding, it'd be against the individual who's named as a defendant in that proceeding. So if, I don't see that any member of the board would have any issues unless they've done something that's wrong. If you haven't done anything that's wrong, you should be fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the motion is to instruct Board Attorney Montenegro to review the pending matters related to the Superintendent Uzinski and to report and counsel the board at its next regularly scheduled meeting on the status and this board's legal rights and options regarding termination of his existing contract.
Just asking for advice.
Yes, he is. We just voted on Mr. Montenegro's appointment.
Sir, we have Mr. Montenegro for the next 45 days. That was already approved. He is also counsel as well. But for this particular issue, it'll be going to him. It's a new issue, it'll be going to him. I'm sorry, sir? He'll be up here.
Mr. President, we don't have all of our other attorneys present on our board chairs here either. We don't have our special counsel, special education counsel, or bond counsel present. We don't have our labor attorney sitting on the board seats.
Sir, we're not at public session. When we get there, you'll be happy, you can come up and comment. Thank you, sir.
So at this point in time, you had a motion and a second, correct? So it'd be appropriate to call a vote.
Roll call? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Barton?
Unfairly abstain.
Ms. Cantillo?
I have to abstain.
Ms. Cusinelli?
I'm going to have to abstain because I don't understand this whole section being added, and I'm concerned about the legality, so I feel more comfortable abstaining from all of it.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yeah, it appears to me that the way it's written is that we're just looking for advice from our attorney. So what's wrong with that? I vote yes.
Number 19.
Number 19.
Number 19, I'd like to make a motion to instruct Board Attorney Montenegro to obtain a list of all pending engagements and lawsuits from current Board Counsel, Special Education Counsel, Bond Counsel, and Labor Negotiations Counsel, and to report a status of same to the Board at its next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
Call for a vote.
Okay.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantilla?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Abstain.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Do we have board comments now?
Board comment, yes.
Do I decide? Yeah. We have now open for board comments, so I'll start at that end. Mr. Barton?
Mr. Lamella, I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm lucky to work with a new town council, elected town council member who's here this evening. Do you know Mrs. Crate? I'd like to acknowledge
I
a
do not.
town council member sitting in the audience this evening, Mrs. Lisa Crate. She's promised to come to our board meetings and work with the board through the town council and with the board together.
Thank you.
That's all. And, oh, no, I have to say congratulations to our new members. I know that how excited I was the night that I was sworn in, and it's a privilege to work with you. I hope for nothing but the best for the school system and everybody in Brick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. White?
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge my wife and my family who supported me all these crazy years in my crazy endeavors. And certainly I would appreciate the townspeople, council, my voters who voted for me. I thank you very much. And I appreciate Mr. Fosman, Mrs. Crate for coming out to the burn-in tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I also would like to congratulate and welcome the new board members, and I look forward to working with all of you for the betterment of the students of this district.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm going to repeat those sentiments, welcoming everyone, and look forward to working with everyone. In the future, though, I would just like to make a recommendation and just a suggestion that we communicate a little bit better
Yes, ma'am.
than this.
I agree.
Okay.
Again, I apologize.
It was a surprise, and I know, that I understand, but I think that everybody would have been a lot more receptive and
I agree.
understand what was going on.
I made a poor assumption. I apologize.
But I thank you, and I welcome everyone.
Ms. Pacala? Oh, Ms. Rob, Stephanie?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that supported us. I look forward to working with everyone on the board, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Go ahead, Victoria.
Hi, I'd also like to thank all of our supporters and our council people that are present tonight, Mr. Fosman and Ms. Crate, and I look forward to an increase in shared mutual arrangements between the school district for the benefit of our children and the town.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the public for supporting me when I ran for the board, supporting our team. I'd like to thank the current board members for welcoming us. I'd like to thank you for supporting me as board president. I look forward to working with all of our teachers, parents, students, administrators, and fellow board members to bring pride, accountability, transparency, and respect back to the Brick schools, and rebuild our reputation in putting students first. So thank you for putting students first. I'm glad you said it. In terms of meetings and professional courtesies, I've had the pleasure of watching some of the meetings and seeing them online, and I want to lay a few ground rules as we move forward. I would like everyone to be treated politely, professionally, and with respect, whether you come up to that microphone or you sit up here. That goes for the community, for us, for everyone. I'd ask that all people, we're in classrooms, and I worked in a classroom, and the number one distraction in the classroom is this. So what I'm going to ask the entire board while you're here is do as I do. Turn these off, put them face down, and let's really focus on the issues we have here before us. Let's really focus, all right? In that vein, I'd ask the audience not to turn them off, just put them on silent. That would help, and it would be greatly appreciated. I'd also ask that during the meetings that if we put them away and we don't use them, we don't have to worry about it, that none of us text each other during board meetings. There's no reason for us to be on these texting if we're focusing on the issues. In terms of coming up as public speakers, we're going to put a 3 to 5 minute cap on people that come up for public comments. And again, we're going to ask for that same decorum, politeness, and respectability. And we, in turn, will give that back. I'm trying to think what else I wrote down. I want to stick to the topics. I watched some of the meetings where we get off topic and off task and off board agenda, and sometimes it seems as if there were some shots taken or personal attacks. Let's not do that. Please, don't get up here. Let's not do that. Let's focus on kids, this budget, our people, our students, our facilities, and let's get this done right. All right? I already went over the cell phones. Just thank you so much for this opportunity, and when you walked up, I recognized you. Thank you. I just look forward to working with everyone, and I hope it can be harmonious. I don't expect us all to agree on everything, but I think at the end of the day, our vision and focus should be rebuilding that slate and bringing a credibility and accountability back to this district, because it is awesome. We have good people here. We have great kids. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now what do I do? Public comment. Now public comment? Yes, sir.
Nick Cusinelli, 113 Dutchess Lane.
Hey, Nick.
Congratulations to everybody that's been elected. Good luck, you're going to need it. It's a lot of work. I know from personal experience. The one thing that I missed with today's meeting, and Jim, you're gonna love this. They didn't recite the adoption of the ethics. It's my favorite thing. I've been coming to this for 6 or 7 years, and when the jumble that comes from that area comes out here, it's hilarious to me, and I really miss the fact that they didn't do that today. So, just adopting it is one thing, but having to read it off all in unison is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Also, part of the ethics thing is, President Lamella, is that you're never supposed to give up your individuality, and you said earlier something about your slate and your team and stuff like that. Now, you're on that side, and that's all out the window. Yep. And now you have to all be as individuals. So good luck to you, and hopefully everything will work out great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Awesome. This is normally... Is there anyone else who wants to come up for public comment? Sir.
Larry Reed, 475 Normandy Drive. I hope you keep that as part of your procedure, that people have to say where they're from.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations to everybody on their election, and thank you for volunteering your time to serve for the betterment of the students here in Brick Township. I hope you follow through on student achievement as the #1 goal of your mission as a board member. I think you've seen the top results that were posted for high schools in New Jersey that recently was on Brick Patch or Shorebeat, and there weren't many Ocean County schools on there, and there weren't any Brick Township schools on there. So there's plenty of room for improvement, which I think we've all worked towards, and the results are still waiting. On your oath, board ethics, I want to read off so that everybody's aware of it, as it was mentioned by somebody else already earlier. Item F says, I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups, or to use schools for personal gain or for the gain of friends. So, again, you're individuals working towards student achievement. So I hope the idea of the slate was to get elected, and now you're all independent. And as a reminder, when you have Open Public Meetings Act, you're not supposed to be texting or sending messages to each other while you're up here. And you can't have more than 4 people, more than 3 people getting together that are board members to discuss things ahead of time. So while you weren't board members before tonight, now it's contingent upon you to communicate everything to all the board members. And we would like it as the public to get these items ahead of time too. If you want to involve the public, you need to give them the agenda items ahead of time. There are always a lot of items on the agenda, and a lot of people like to look them up for different reasons. So I would hope they would be on the agenda in the future so that we can look at them as the public and follow along and offer positive suggestions. And please, I've emphasized this before, try and hold everybody's comments to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And again, I apologize for sending it in, but we are going to move forward in a positive manner.
Any other public comment?
Is there any other public comment?
Seeing none.
All right, this is that part I remember, okay. Seeing none, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cantillo?
Yes.
Ms. Cusinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Please note, next meeting's at Memorial High School.
Thank you.
It's at Memorial High School.
Yep.
Because we're honoring the band that.
Okay.
Okay? just-
Could they move all
Wait,
this
wait,
stuff over?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we just pick one place.
I just want to make mention to everybody.
All right, our next meeting is at Brick Memorial High School.